Well, think about some larger cities in America, around the world for that matter. Compare the air quality there and here in Omaha.
We might think we're doing well, but our guest would caution, just because air looks clean doesn't mean it is.
Yeah, Angela Tidd is the president of environmental health with the American Lung Association of the Upper Midwest.
Hi, Angela.
It's a mouthful.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Thank you.
So why do you say that our air may be more dangerous than it appears? I hear these air quality assessments all the time.
Well, sometimes it's what you can't see that's most harmful, because the smallest material is the one that gets into the lung and the lung bronchioles. So what you can't see is not always the safest.
We are talking about fuel today.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be eye-opening for a lot of folks watching now. What is it that we're putting in our gas tanks that can be dangerous to us all?
Well, gasoline comes from crude oil, and when they refine gasoline, they go through a number of steps. And the components that are used in gasoline that comes out through the tailpipes aren't always the most helpful or beneficial.
Well, they put these additives in there, right? So what is it about these additives, even in our gasoline, that's always, because they've always been there, right? What is it about the additives?
It's in the crude itself, and what happens is during the refinery process, they remove some of the components and then they add them back in. And so they're benzene, toluene, xylene, and these are carcinogenic compounds that we breathe.
Carcinogens, cancer-causing agents.
Cancer-causing,
definition.
yes.
So let's talk about the health problems that have been proven to result from breathing in some of those toxins. What do we know?
Well, some of them are acute effects, and so what happens is that you have a lot of long-term and short-term effects. So short-term are acute effects, and we have immediate effects like asthma, shortness of breathing. You have types of respiratory disease which are long-term, and you may have tightening of your airwaves, and eventually you could develop lung cancer.
So we've talked about some of the health complications from that, from breathing, and the air quality as well. But what can we do at the pump that can help us out?
Well, there are things called renewable fuels that are added to gasoline and that can replace gasoline, and ethanol is one of the components. And it can be added in 10%, 15%, all the way up to 85%. And as long as your cars can take that fuel, it can replace the gasoline with these beneficial renewable fuels.
And we're looking for that American Ethanol stamp, right?
Yes,
That kind
yes.
of lets you know. So if you look for that logo, it might make it a little bit easier. But in general, it just makes the air cleaner?
It makes the air cleaner because you're displacing the gasoline components with a renewable fuel that's good, it's beneficial, it's biodegradable, and there's no harmful effects.
I've got a flex fuel vehicle, and there's many people out there, and there's more and more cars that have these flex fuel vehicles. What do owners of those type of cars, what should they know about when we're at the pump?
A lot of people don't know that they have flex fuel vehicles, so in their owner manuals or in their gas cap, there's a sign that says it can use flex fuel. And if you find a station that sells the flex fuel, you can use anything up to 85% ethanol in the car with no effects.
That yellow gas cap is also a good indicator.
The yellow gas cap is good, but they're not always using the yellow gas cap, so the owner's manual is the best thing to consult.
Well, I don't even have a gas cap
Really?
in my car, but yeah, so you should check your owner's manual to figure that out. But what will our viewers find online at e85omaha.com?
There's a lot of information out there about what kind of cars can run on E85, what are the health effects, what are the environmental effects, because those two go hand in hand.
This conversation, I feel like we're going to be having it more and more, right? As car technology changes, and of course we've been seeing what's happening at the pump, that's changing. But are you noticing that as you're out spreading the word that people want to hear what you had to say? They want to know the facts.
Yes, and we've been working on this program for 10 years now, and the audience is asking more and more better questions, and they're even challenging us to the questions that they're asking. They know about E85, and they want to know what they can do to help and make a clean air choice.
Well, if you've been working on this for 10 years, have you seen, what type of impact have you seen from your efforts? Or is it working?
It's working. There are more and more stations that are using E85, and there's a lot more young people that are interested in doing better for the environment.
Well, you start to make choices as you think about buying that next car. I think more people, it's factoring in. It's not just about, oh, what color is it? You know, you want to be smart. You want to take care of the planet.
Yes.
You want to take care of your own health and that of your children. So
Yes.
everything you're saying. There's another website, which we mentioned, e85omaha.com, but there's another website that I was looking at yesterday, fixourfuel.com.
Okay.
Give us a quick word about that while we have you here, Angela.
There's still a lot of information out there. There's a lot of information out there even at our website, which is Clean Air Choice. And so there's different sites that people can go to get the different answers.
Gosh, any idea how many fuel stations out there have E85? Do you know the percentages? Because it seems like, you know, gosh, a number of years ago when E85 was newer, there were only a handful of stations. Now I feel like I see it everywhere.
Yes, there's a lot more, and there's a lot more every day, but the stations have to make a choice, and they have to decide, well, what fuel am I giving up in order to sell E85 or
Right.
the flex fuel? And they're making those choices today.
Well, when consumers ask for it, it makes it a little bit easier
Yes.
for them to
Demand,
make
yeah.
those decisions. We mentioned a few websites in our visit here today, and we've got some of that information posted online. If you go to omahamorningblend.com, if you haven't been able to jot it all down. Otherwise, you can discover more at these two sites. If you can remember them, or if you want to make a note at home. If it's important to you, then we encourage you to log on, follow up, get educated. That's why Angela joined us today, so that she could help us, guide us through this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you
It's great to have you
me.
here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. All right, some of the biggest designers. Excuse me, Mary.
Wait,
Excuse me.
Hold on. I'll go to omahamorningblend.com while you're clearing the frog in your
Excuse me,
throat.
hold on.
A few giveaways. We mentioned the one earlier, the CPR kits, Mike, but we've also got the Kansas City tickets to give away. So go to omahamorningblend.com, click on contests. We'll make sure you're caught up to speed there. Now you go.
La, 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 la. Okay, I'm good. Some of the biggest designers in jewelry just presented their best at JCK.
John Deneen was there, and today he's here with some of his top finds from the huge jewelry show.
I feel that.